And you could probably think about thought leaders or people that you look up to, some of your favorite speakers and some of your favorite pastors, some of your favorite TV personalities, and the ones who've built a very big and sustainable brand. If you really go back through your mental database, you'll probably find that most of them have a signature story. A story that anybody who's experienced them has actually heard that story. If you think about every single one of them, and if you've had the opportunity to actually study them, what you will find is that the one thing that is very common with all of them is if you watch them over time, no matter how big their platform goes, when they get in front of new audiences and they're trying to enroll new people into their brand, they always go back to a core story, right? Yeah. And so Jim Rohn, for instance, Jim Rohn has passed away. He's one of the thought leaders. He had a program called The Art of Exceptional Living. It was Jim Rohn who said that when the end comes for you, let it find you conquering a new mountain and not sliding down an old slippery slope. It was Jim Rohn that said, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune. It was Jim Rohn that said success is a few simple disciplines exercised each and every single day. But if you listen to Jim Rohn, he always shares a story. And he's got that little accent. You know, I was 23 years old. I had every reason to do well. I was working a job and all the things inside of me. But yet I didn't have the money. And then I met Mr. Shelton. And then he changed my life around. And what he told me was this: Jim, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard on your job, you'll make a living. If you work hard on yourself, you'll make a fortune, right? And then he talks about how he met this mentor, and this mentor started dropping seeds on him, and ultimately that transformed his life. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Yes. Right? And then we think about it, T.D. Jakes, who's a mega pastor right now, right? But if you ever listen to T.D. Jakes, he'll tell you about the time that he's always been struggling, right? Because of the fact that he has a lisp and he was not really confident in that, but then he started speaking. They're looking at him, man, this weird, strange talking pastor. And then he had this little church he started and there was nobody out there in the pews. And then he remembered one particular time he went on home, and when he got home, the lights and electricity was off. He would tell the little children, hey, we go play a game. We just go keep the lights off in the house when we get in the house, because he would put that game up so the children didn't know that the lights were cut off, right? So he'll share that story about the struggle of getting up there and preaching when there's pretty much nowhere, of running all the tasks in the church, doing everything at all times to get to the place that he's at now. Does that make sense? Yes or yes? Yes. And then you think about it, Tony Robbins, right? You'll talk about digging those ditches and those trenches in the golf course and so forth, and not really having any true income, not having any real money, until he started to come across who? Jim Rohn, who was one of his mentors, who then Jim Rohn started teaching him different things and success principles, and he started learning from the greats, and he started implementing those things and created shift and change in their life. And so if you think about anyone that you can think of, in order for them to build the brand, and in order for them to be able to create a following, and in order for them to attract, you see the difference here? Listen, attract versus chasing, right? How many of you want to stop chasing customers and clients, right? I hate chasing some customers and clients. Anybody else don't want to chase some customer and client, right? So the way you go from chasing to attracting is having a message that is so strong and so clear that those who are your assignment so resonate with what you have to say that they say, hey, I want to work with you. Hey, I want to learn more about your products and your services. Hey, what you have to share in your story so resonates with me. There is such a connection between myself and your story that I want to go ahead and have you actually do my mortgage. I want to actually have you actually be the person to come in and train these nurses, right? And so what I want you to realize is that the whole purpose of the Master Storyteller Academy is to get you at least equipped with the signature story. That is the story that you will share over and over and over and over and over again.